really struck a chord with me for lots of reasons. People will talk about, the body of Christ, and that's a big topic. It's an important topic to me. But one of the things I'm learning is when Paul writes, if one part of the body suffers, then the whole body suffers.
Right.
And I think part of what we're trying to do in this era is to actually pay better attention to the whole body. Does that make sense to you in the context of what you're writing about?
Completely. I think that's, there is a section of the body that isn't being addressed or embraced, and that's really kind of been a motivating factor for me. Having gone through a season of feeling alienated from the church. I grew up in the church as a missionary kid, came back, my parents split up, and I got into the music business and had a really, really great run at that. But then, when my wife left, ultimately, and I became a single dad to 3 girls, full-time custody, I realized that, wow, we don't really fit in anywhere. Like our friend group splintered. The church that we were associated, the pastor was incredibly supportive, but you stop getting invited to certain things because people don't really know how to address people that are and so
how old were the kids then?
9, 7, and 4, 3 girls.
So you're really a father of little ones.
Little ones,
they're still navigating their way through their grief, through their questions.
That's right.
That was a part of it?
That absolutely it was a huge part of it. And being a guy and having little girls, and then I was a music executive, so I traveled all the time. So I was plugged in with their lives, but not to the extent of being a stay-at-home dad. I wasn't, but then all of a sudden, like in a week, everything changed, and I was doing it alone. I mean, literally, when I say doing it alone, I mean like literally doing it alone. She had supervised visitation with the girls, and that was it. So speaking to your body analogy, I was a part of the body, but I wasn't being addressed by the church, and it wasn't like I needed fixing or whatever. And I think a lot of times it's where churches have a hard time, is they feel like in order to have something they think they have to have something to offer to fix people, to help people. And really what we need more than anything, single parents, is someone to walk with us and to be in that space with us.
Yeah, but that's like human nature, period. We love to be the ones that have the solution.
Right, that's better said, yes.
And you don't, solutions are great, but that's not what you were asking for.
Right. It was more about having the relationship, feeling like we belonged, feeling like I belonged, in church still. I can't tell, it's really strange, like you wouldn't know this, but first of all, there's a study that was done about single parents, and 67%, almost 70% of single parents don't attend church. And the number 1 and 2 reasons is they feel judged and like they don't belong. And I can tell you, stats aside, that's exactly how I felt. Like, because every time I walked in to a church building, I felt the weight of people going, I wonder what the story is there. He's 3 little duckling girls walking in, and he's sitting alone, and it just, you just feel completely like, I don't know, like we don't belong here. And so
did the girls feel that as well?
A little bit. The unfortunate thing and the fortunate thing is there's a lot of single parent families out there, and so there are a lot of kids that are kind of going through it. And so when they go into youth group, they weren't the only ones that didn't have a mom living at home, or didn't have a dad in some cases. So, but it's just a very interesting season, and unless you've been there, I don't know that you can really understand the complexities of it.
So, since some of the church hasn't been there, how do we navigate that? Because this seems to be a part of what your ministry is about, and what really this book is about is just kind of maybe pulling back the curtain a little bit so that the rest of us can understand how to enter into this.
Yeah, it's really important, not just what we do, but how we do it and how we approach a single parent.
Yes.
And it's as simply put as, we don't want to be pitied, we want to be honored. And so it would be different if I looked at you and I said, listen, Greg, you know, I feel so bad for you. Let me help out or whatever. That's one approach, and it's offering help, but it's kind of pitying you. Another way to handle that would be like, Greg, I just can't believe all that you're doing. I just think you're amazing. I don't know that I could do what you do. How can I get involved and help you? That dynamic is really critical because single parents already feel embarrassed and they feel shamed, and to have someone kind of reach out and pity, and I'm not saying don't have empathy or pity, I'm just saying the way you approach a single parent is so critical in making sure that you are letting them know that they are welcome and that you honor them and that kind of thing.